You look at your arms in the mirror and something's off. Yeah, your biceps have some size now. You've been curling 3 times a week for months, maybe even a year. But when you flex, there's no peak, no ball sitting on top of your arm. Just a flat mound that makes you look like you're flexing with 50% effort, even when you're squeezing as hard as you can. Here's the thing. Your biceps don't suck because you're not training them enough. They suck because you're only training half of them. I know exactly what you're thinking right now. Whoa, whoa. What do you mean half? I'm doing curls. That's what hits biceps. Yeah, technically. But doing the same basic curl variation over and over is like trying to build a house by only constructing the walls. Sure, you got something standing, but without the roof, without the structure on top, it's not complete. And before you go into the comments typing, but Winnie, curls are curls. What else am I supposed to do? Dude, trust me, there's a whole science to this that nobody talks about. And it's so simple once you understand it, that you'll be mad you wasted all this time doing the same boring curls. By the end of this video, you're going to know exactly which muscle heads you're neglecting, the 3 exercise variations you need to actually build a peak, and why your biceps might actually need less work, not more. Plus, I'm going to tell you about one muscle that's not even your bicep that makes your arms look way bigger, and most people don't even know it exists. I spent 2 years doing nothing but standard barbell curls and dumbbell curls, and my arms looked like deflated pool floaties. Not tiny, just flat. Then I learned what I'm about to teach you, and within 3 months, I finally had that roundness at the top. So let's begin. Your bicep isn't one muscle, it's 2, the long head and the short head. Now, before your eyes glaze over thinking this is going to be some anatomy lecture, stay with me because this is the only technical thing you need to know, and I'm going to make it stupid simple. Think of your bicep like 2 water balloons sitting side by side on your arm. The short head is the balloon on the inside, closer to your chest. The long head is the balloon on the outside, the one that creates that peak when you flex. And here's what nobody tells you. When you do a standard curl with your arms at your sides, you're mostly inflating the short head balloon. The long head is barely getting pumped up. The peak you're chasing, that ball on top of your arm, that's the long head. If you only do regular curls where your elbows are at your sides or slightly in front of you, you're building width but not height. Your biceps will look decent from the front, but from the side, flat. No pop. It's like building a pancake instead of a softball. The secret is shoulder position. When your shoulder is extended back behind your body, the long head gets stretched out more, which means it has to work harder during the curl. When your shoulder is flexed forward or your elbow is in front of your body, the short head takes over. That's it. That's the whole game. Shoulder back equals long head emphasis and peak development. Shoulder forward equals short head emphasis and width. You control which head gets worked just by changing where your elbow is in space. Wait, so my regular curls are useless? No, I hear you. They're not useless. They're building the inside of your bicep just fine. But if you only do those, you're only building half the muscle. It would be like only training your upper chest and wondering why your pecs look weird. You need both variations to build a complete arm. Here's how you can feel this right now. Stand up, grab something light. Doesn't even need to be a dumbbell. Hold it at your side and do a curl. Feel where you feel it in your bicep. Now, lean forward slightly and curl with your elbow behind your body. Like you're starting the curl from behind your hip. Completely different feeling, right? That tension on the outside of your bicep, that's your long head finally waking up. Remember, 2 balloons. Standard curls inflate the inside balloon. Shoulder back curls inflate the outside balloon that creates the peak. You need both balloons fully inflated to have complete arms. So now that you understand the anatomy, which specific exercises actually target that long head? Let me show you the 3 exercises you need, and I'm going to give you the exact form cues so you can't mess this up. Number 1, incline dumbbell curls. This is the king of peak building, and if you only add one exercise from this video, make it this one. Set an adjustable bench to about 45 to 60 degrees. Sit back against it and let your arms hang straight down. Notice your shoulders are now behind your body. That's the magic position. When you curl from here, your long head is stretched out at the bottom and it has to work through the entire range of motion. 3 sets of 10 to 12 reps. And here's the form cue that changes everything. Don't let your elbows drift forward as you curl. Keep them pointing straight down toward the floor the entire time. The second your elbow comes forward, you lose the long head tension. I know it's tempting to swing the weight up, but that's exactly what you've been doing wrong this whole time. But Winnie, I don't have an incline bench. I hear you. If you're training at home, you can do the same thing standing, but hinge forward at the hips so your torso is at that 45-degree angle. Or just prop some pillows behind your back on a regular chair. You're clever. Figure it out. The point is getting your shoulder into extension. Number 2, preacher curls. Now, this one is actually the opposite. Your shoulder is flexed forward, elbow in front of your body, which means this hits the short head hard. Why do you need this if we're trying to build the peak? Because balance. A massive long head on a flat short head looks weird. You need both developed. Plus, the preacher curl locks your arm in place, so you can't cheat. 3 sets of 10 to 12 reps. Focus on the squeeze at the top. Hold it for a full second before lowering. Number 3, and this is the plot twist, hammer curls. Wait, isn't that for forearms? Kind of, but not really. Hammer curls primarily hit a muscle called the brachialis. This muscle sits underneath your bicep, and when you build it up, it literally pushes your bicep up from below, creating more peak and more overall arm thickness. It's like putting a platform under your bicep. Think of it as the foundation that makes the house look taller. Most people completely ignore this muscle, and then they wonder why their arms look flat, even though their biceps have size. 3 sets of 12 to 15 reps. Now, the biggest mistake I see with all 3 of these exercises is swinging. If you have to swing the weight up, it's too heavy. Your ego doesn't build muscle, tension does. And here's another one, rushing the reps. These aren't speed curls. Take 2 seconds to curl up, squeeze for 1 second at the top, then take 2 to 3 seconds to lower down. That's how you actually build muscle. Explosive up, squeeze, controlled down. Not the other way around. I remember when I first tried incline curls, I grabbed the same weight I used for regular curls. Dude, I couldn't even get 5 reps. I felt like I'd never lifted before. That's normal. Your long head is weak because you've never trained it properly. Start with lighter weight than you think you need. Master the form. And add weight every week. And before you ask, no, you don't need all 3 exercises in every workout. Pick 1 long head movement like incline curls and 1 hammer curl variation per bicep session. That's enough. Stop overthinking. Okay, so you know the exercises now. But how often should you actually train biceps? And how many sets? Because here's where most people mess up even harder than exercise selection. Here's something that's going to sound backwards. You probably don't need more bicep work. You need less. I know. You thought this video was going to tell you to train biceps 5 times a week. But here's the reality. Biceps are a small muscle group. They get worked every time you train back. Every rowing movement, every pull-up, every lat pull-down is already hitting your biceps. So when you add dedicated bicep work on top of that, you're already giving them plenty of stimulus. For most people, 2 dedicated bicep sessions per week is more than enough. And I'm talking about 2 to 3 exercises per session. That's it. So you might do incline curls and hammer curls on Monday after back, then preacher curls and another hammer curl variation on Thursday after your second back session. Total dedicated bicep volume? About 9 to 12 sets per week spread across both heads. That's all you need. And here's what nobody wants to hear. If you're hammering your biceps every single day because you want them to grow faster, you're actually slowing down your progress. Muscle doesn't grow during the workout. It grows during recovery. Biceps are small and they recover relatively fast, usually within 48 hours. But if you're hitting them every 24 hours, you're never letting them actually rebuild. It's like trying to build that house we talked about earlier, but tearing down the walls every day before the concrete sets. You're just spinning your wheels. Okay, now for the reality check nobody wants to hear. Peak development is partially genetic. Some people have long bicep bellies that naturally create more peak. Some people have shorter bellies with more of a gap. You can absolutely improve your peak with the right training, but you can't completely change your muscle insertion points. If you have short biceps, you're not going to look like Arnold no matter what you do. But you know what? You can still build impressive arms that look way better than they do now. The goal isn't to look like someone else. The goal is to maximize your own potential. Here's how you make this work long term. Start with the 3 exercise types I gave you. Run them for 8 to 12 weeks while adding a little weight, or 1 to 2 reps every week. Progressive overload is still king. After that, you can start playing with different curl variations, like cable curls, concentration curls, or spider curls. But master the basics first. Don't jump to fancy variations when you haven't even built the foundation. But won't I get bored doing the same 3 exercises? Maybe. But you know what's more boring? Staying at the same level for years because you keep switching exercises before you master any of them. Stick with these 3 for at least 2 to 3 months. Your biceps won't get bored, I promise. They can't think. And remember, these exercises work with your back training, not against it. If you train back and biceps on the same day, do back first, then biceps. Your back training already warmed up your biceps and gave them some work. Your dedicated bicep exercises are just finishing the job. So you've got the exercises, you know the volume, you understand the frequency. But what about nutrition? And how long until you actually see these changes? Let me break that down real quick without overwhelming you with BS you don't need. Nutrition for biceps is the same as nutrition for everything else. You need enough protein to build muscle. That's 0.8 to 1 gram per pound of body weight, spread across 3 to 5 meals. Nothing fancy. Your biceps don't need some special bicep growth food. They need amino acids from protein to repair and grow, and they need enough calories so your body isn't breaking down muscle for energy. If you're in a calorie deficit trying to get shredded while also expecting to add a full inch to your arms, you're living in fantasy land. You can't build muscle in a meaningful way when you're cutting. So if you want your biceps to actually grow, you either need to be at maintenance calories or in a slight surplus. About 200 to 300 calories over maintenance is enough. Recovery is simple. Get 7 to 9 hours of sleep most nights. Don't train biceps back-to-back days. That's it. You don't need ice baths or massage guns or compression sleeves. Those things are fine if you want them, but they're not make or break. Sleep and rest days are the only recovery tools that actually matter for biceps growth. What equipment do you actually need? A pair of dumbbells and some kind of bench that can incline. That's it. If you're training at home and you don't have a bench, get creative. Use a chair with some pillows. Prop yourself up on a couch. Or just do the standing variation I mentioned earlier. The point is getting your shoulder into the right position, not having perfect gym equipment. And for hammer curls, you literally just need dumbbells. No excuses. Now, how long until you see actual changes? Here's the honest answer. If you've been training biceps for a while, but only doing standard curls. You'll probably notice your arms looking fuller and rounder within 4 to 6 weeks of adding these exercises. The long head will start to develop, and you'll see more shape when you flex. But to build a noticeable peak that makes people say, "Damn, your arms got bigger," you're looking at 8 to 12 weeks of consistent training with progressive overload. That's if your nutrition is on point and you're actually recovering. And no, you're not going to add 2 inches to your arms in a month. Maybe half an inch if you're lucky and you've been training for less than 2 years. Arm growth is slow. It's stubborn, but it's achievable if you stay patient and stick with the program. Do you need supplements for biceps? No. Protein powder can help you hit your protein target if your diet sucks, but it's not magic bicep juice. Creatine might add a little volume to your muscles from water retention, so they look slightly fuller, but it's not going to build a peak for you. The work builds the peak. The exercises I showed you build the peak. Supplements are just the cherry on top, and most people don't even need the cherry. All right, so you've got everything you need. You know the anatomy, the exercises, the training volume, the nutrition basics, and the realistic time frame. Now what? Here's what you're going to do. Starting your very next workout, you're going to add one of these 3 exercises to your bicep training. If you have a bench, do inclined dumbbell curls. If not, do the standing variation. 3 sets of 10 to 12 reps. Focus on keeping your elbows back and controlling the weight down. Then add hammer curls at the end. That's it. 2 exercises, 6 total sets. You just upgraded your entire bicep training in less than 10 minutes. Your biceps don't suck. They've just been working with half the tools they need. You've been showing up, putting in the work, doing the curls. That's more than most people do. Now you just need to give your long head the attention it deserves, and your arms are going to transform. It's not complicated. It's not some secret hack. It's just smart, targeted training that works with your anatomy instead of against it. Remember, muscle grows brick by brick, rep by rep, week by week. You're not going to wake up tomorrow with a massive peak. But 12 weeks from now, when you flex in the mirror and you see that ball sitting on top of your arm, you're going to be glad you made the change today. The difference between flat arms and peaked arms isn't genetics or magic supplements or training 7 days a week. It's understanding which muscle heads you're targeting and giving each one the work it needs to grow. You know that now. You understand the long head, the short head, and the brachialis underneath, pushing everything up. You've got the exercises. You've got the plan. Now all that's left is the work. Brick by brick, no shortcuts. Now go build those peaks.